Welcome back to Real Phonies, where we take a love for movies and television and combine it with very little knowledge about movies and television. I'm your host, Christian. Join me are my co-host, Joseph.
Hello.
And Jay here.
Cacao!
Back again for our 100th episode. Never thought we'd get this far.
Woo!
We're going to talk about other notable 100th episode of things, right?
Indeed, other 100th episode of TV shows that have made it to this benchmark milestone, whatever you want to call it. Again, as Hurt will probably elucidate in a few seconds, there is a little bit of a history with the 100th episode mark, whether it's acknowledged or not by the TV show. But just an acknowledgement of our own professionalism, I want to publicly put on record the fact that after 100 episodes, sometimes we still forget to push the record button when we start.
It's not my fault anymore that doesn't happen.
That's true.
I mean, this one was the worst one, though. I feel like this is the farthest we got without recording.
That's probably true.
We had gotten a good way into this one before we realized we were not recording.
I mean, Christian and I once lost a whole episode. We had a great Halloween episode that I felt happy about that is gone forever.
But that one, you pressed record. It just went away, correct?
Correct.
I don't know. Somehow that's less soul-crushing, I think.
I guess technically in that particular situation, this is actually our 101st episode. There's just one lost to the ages.
Oh, that's funny.
But yeah, okay, 100 episodes of TV shows again. Yeah, 100 episodes used to be a huge milestone behind the scenes on a TV show because it was the point at which a TV show could be sold into syndication, which used to be a way bigger deal than now. You'd get to 100 episodes and then you would sell it to local stations, and then they would run Andy Griffin after the news, for the rest of forever. And people from that would continue to get paid for the rest of forever or until they die. So that stopped being as much of a milestone since TV syndication really isn't as big of a thing now with streaming. People don't wait for TV shows to happen to them now. So, and with streaming, you don't need 100 episodes. You need 4 episodes. You need hardly any episodes to get streamed on Netflix. But it's still a milestone that seems like on this side of the camera, maybe even more so, that usually shows make a big deal of doing something with their 100th episode.
Yeah, it became, there's, different styles of 100 episodes. Some where they really go for it artistically. Some where it's always just like a flashback episode. Like, look at the fond memories we had.
Right.
And then some are defining episodes, whether it's good or bad. I would say like an episode that I remember very definitely that's 100th episode is the Scrubs. It's like an allegory of the Wizard of Oz. It's a great episode. It really stands out. The problem is it's kind of a cut above of everything else Scrubs ever did. So these 100th episodes really have or at least they used to, between the 80s and, 2012, there was a stigma of accomplishment with 100 episodes. But we really don't have that anymore. And so this isn't really a thing, like the special 100th episode thing. I don't even know the last show to hit 100 episodes.
Yeah, none of my shows that I have are very recent.
We definitely moved, the streaming model, like you talked about, moved to essentially shorter seasons. And you could get canceled at any moment.
For any reason. It doesn't seem to be related to popularity or anything. Just it's funny you mentioned Scrubs specifically, though, because that was actually one of the ones that was on my list, even though it wasn't necessarily, like you said, like a special episode. I guess it kind of was because it's kind of a Wizard of Oz allegory. But when it was the only one of the ones on this list that I was like, oh, I should go back and rewatch it. And I did. And I was like, oh, Scrubs is really great. But now you're making me feel like, oh, maybe just that episode was really great.
Yeah, listen, I'm pro Scrubs, but it's probably not as good as 16-year-old me made it out to be. But then again, it's probably not as terrible as 30-year-old me is making it out to be.
I have said numerous times on this show when I will stick by that it is a very okay show.
Speaking of okay shows with 100 episodes, one that I wanted to bring up, and I may be the only person here who's watched it, How I Met Your Mother.
I've watched at least 100 episodes of that show and have still not watched a lot of episodes of it.
Yeah, it lasted a long time.
Yeah.
The 100th episode is, in my opinion, the best episode of the show. It's called, I think, Women versus Suits. And basically it makes Barney, Neil Patrick Harris's character, there's this hot blonde chick he meets at a bar, and he has to decide if he wants to sleep with this girl. She won't do it with a guy in suits. And of course, one of Barney's character traits is that he wears a suit all the time. And so he has to choose between women or suits. And it ends with a big musical number and really shows off like NPH's Broadway chops. It's a fun episode of that show. And one that I would recommend if you've never watched it, that would be an episode I'd say, hey, tune in. It might be something to get you on board. Now, will you stick? Who knows? But it's an example of the 100th episode being, I think, probably a cut above the rest of the episodes.
Well, I think that show's good for a long time, and then it isn't. And this might be one of these shows that going more than 100 was a bad idea.
Yeah, that's a good point. A lot of these, I think, Joseph, you said this on our unrecorded version of this episode.
Correct.
That the 100th episode could be like a benchmark of things that have gone on too long, possibly.
Particularly sitcoms, I think. I think we mentioned, as far as the infinite number of Law and Orders that aliens will discover one day and try and figure out what the hell the society was doing with their lives if they can make like 700 episodes of Law and Order. But the difference is, I feel like with like a crime procedural, you don't actually have to make anything different for the formula to still work. For sitcoms and for comedy, there's like a necessary element of surprise for it to be funny. And I think it's just hard to nail that balancing act for a really long time without dramatically changing, what the show was at its core.
Well,
yeah, also, go ahead, Jay. Sorry.
No, you go ahead. I'm sorry.
I was just going to say there also seems to be more recognition that this show has lasted or has had staying power in comedy or in sitcoms. Like, I don't know how many episodes Game of Thrones has gone for, like 77 or something.
Mm-hmm.
And if it had hit 100, there would have been nothing special about it. It would have just been another episode of Game of Thrones. But when it comes to sitcoms, even though that kind of serial weekly production sets itself up better for 100 episodes, it's the ones that really highlight that we made it to this accomplishment. It's just weird to me. It's very self-aware. It doesn't have to. I mean, we're talking about 100 episodes on our 100 episodes, so I guess I'm being a little hypocritical now, but it's just weird. It's just a strange thing to me that we're going to write this special thing that addresses how many episodes of this fake thing we've made.
See, I don't have a problem with it because for me, and I feel like even for like the general consumer, like 100 episodes is kind of fun for a show that you really like because it's kind of like a birthday party. They don't really have birthday parties, but it's like an acknowledgement of, hey, I enjoy the general content, but let's just kind of celebrate this thing that is this thing,
Well, you were saying that how it's kind of it's a weird thing to write in the show. One of the ones I have on my list is one where it's literally written into the show, which is one of my favorite shows, 30 Rock. The 100th episode of 30 Rock is about the 100th episode of TGS. So,
it's a good one. It has Tom Hanks in it.
It does.
Yeah, it does. It does have Tom Hanks. It does. Yeah, it's got a nice cameo by Tom Hanks. It also has Michael Keaton in it. Michael Keaton.
Frasier did the same thing. Frasier's 100th episode is about Frasier's 1000th episode.
Oh, right on.
Of his radio show. And it's pretty good too. I think the 30 Rock one hits better. Maybe it's just because Frasier's kind of dated now. But
the 30 Rock one I think also works because there's a plot line in it where there's a gas leak in the building. So they do a clip show thing where they show stuff from old seasons, but then they also start to hallucinate. So some of the clips are not what they were originally. And
right.
Jack meets time traveling versions of himself. And he gives a pretty great speech to Tracy Jordan about how to throw away his credibility. And it's a thinly veiled critique on Alec Baldwin's own career. It's a solid episode. And, we talked about how 100 can sometimes be a good stopping point. I still think 30 Rock was great after this, but this could have been a stopping point for them. And actually their last episode is kind of just this episode again. But yeah, I definitely think that one's worth checking out.
Are there any terrible ones that come to people's mind? Ones that are like just a utter bore? The worst 100th episodes.
I mean, I fucking love Seinfeld, but their 100th episode is an all-clip show, which wouldn't be so bad if they didn't also do 2 more clip shows after that.
Yeah, I'm not a fan of the clip show.
That's why I think the 30 Rock one is kind of extra funny, because it's like a recognition and kind of like it's doing the thing, but it's also like,
making fun of the thing. Yeah, I appreciate it for that. Because I'm glad that it takes shots at it. Like shows like Friends, every season Friends did a clip episode to remind you of how Ross and Rachel were secretly in love with each other. Like it's just, I did not need the constant reminder. One that I think of, and Jehu, I think we're going to disagree on. I stan Lost all day long, but the 100th episode of Lost is not great. It's in the middle of the worst season, which is the 5th season of Lost. And it involves a obscure character that had quite the following on the internet, Daniel Faraday. But, I mean, that show, it's an example of, and I think it ends strong. I think the 6th season really comes back, but season 4 and 5 kind of lost its way a bit. And it's during that time it had the 100th episode, probably a point it may have gone on too long.
Okay. I was going to argue with you about the 5th season, but you don't think the 4th season is good?
Maybe my problem with the 4th season is that it follows the 3rd season, which is the best season of Lost.
Okay, the 3rd season is the best season of Lost, which I think is me and you being outside of the norm, because a lot of people say that's a weak season, but 4th is just genuinely considered by most people as being the best season, so I'm surprised you don't like. I too like the 3rd season.
I don't like the
better.
Jumping. I don't like the jumping, the moving through time, and I really didn't even care for them being in the past. I think that's why I preferred when they, them in the Dharma Initiative. That feels like people had so many questions, they just came up with a plot point to try to answer those questions, and they failed to do both. And when they come back to the present, way more entertaining to me.
Yeah. Well, I mean, that 100th episode, I like it a lot, but also there's nothing special about it. There's nothing like 100th-y about it,
Yeah, I will say another one that I wanted to talk about because I watched it recently, and I think you have as well, Jehu, the 100th episode of Next Generation, which is one of the best episodes of Next Generation.
It is totally one of the best fucking episodes absolutely.
Joseph, I'm assuming you're not familiar.
I'm not.
There was a character that died in season 1 who they bring back in weird ways a couple of times, but this is one of the times where they have her come back as a Romulan villain. It's like I think it's the season 4 finale is how it lined up. And Romulan showing up looks like Tasha Yar, and it's a shocking moment. Like it plays really well.
And it plays off the best episode of the series, which is yesterday's Enterprise. So, whereas the original Star Trek didn't have a huge amount of continuity, it was one of those things where watching this show for years really paid off.
Yeah, and it's still not a show with super continuity. Like, you could skip around Next Generation all you wanted.
Right.
But, that is one of the moments where it does kind of reward its fans for sticking it out.
Yeah, I would probably put that as maybe the 3rd best Star Trek Next Generation episode. So yeah, that's definitely a good 100th episode.
But on my notes, all I wrote was Romulan Tasha Yar.
On the subject of long-running geek shows, I also have the X-Files 100th episode on here, which they use in a weird way. They basically use it to make a backdoor pilot.
Yeah,
I don't know if you guys are very familiar with X-Files, but the 100th episode is the first episode that's really about Mulder's buddies, the Lone Gunmen. And, not long after that, the Lone Gunmen got their own series, which did not last. But it's a solid episode. If I remember correctly, I think it guest stars soap opera vet Signe Coleman. But it's all right. But again, it's not very 100th-y. It's a weird way to do that milestone.
So wait, is the other one is a spin-off show?
Yeah, they had a spin-off show called The Lone Gunman.
I mean, I feel like 100 episodes is about the right time to do the spin-off if you're going to do one.
Well, that's true. That's true.
That's Unusual Suspects, right? That's the name of that episode?
Yes.
Yeah.
I guess what's weird about it as a 100th episode is I don't think it features Scully at all.
That is strange, but I think you're right. Weird because it's such a mainstay. But again, I mean, I don't know. Like, is it the 100th episode? Who is it really a big deal for? You know, like, did
Right.
Vince Gilligan think that he was like, oh, great, we're getting syndicated? Or was he like, I'm just glad I'm still writing the show. I don't know how much more I got.
Right.
So I don't know. It's a weird accomplishment in that for some people it's a big deal, and for some people it doesn't matter at all.
And by the way, that was about how much more they had. That was the last great season of the X-Files. The season after that has some really good standalone episodes, but the overall story tanks after that. Also, on the subject of long-running geek shows, I would say this might be the best 100th episode. It's definitely the one that makes it the most of a milestone. And that's the Buffy the Vampire Slayer 100th episode.
I knew this was coming.
You knew this was coming? I mean, it's a pretty great 100th episode because, spoiler alert, they kill the main character in the episode. You know, at the time, they had been on, I think, the WB, and they were moving to the UPN, but it wasn't a done deal. So I think they wrote the episode as if it could be the last episode, and in it they kill Buffy, and it's a it's a kick-ass blood fest sort of battle. And of course, since it comes back for 2 more seasons, Buffy decides to not be dead anymore. But it's a fucking solid episode. And it even though at that point you knew it was coming back, it felt real. It felt like, oh shit, Buffy's dead.
I like this idea of celebrating a milestone of longevity by just killing it. like it's good now. Let's stop while we're ahead.
Right. And I mean, like, really, if you stop, it's a good ending for the show. I think it's a better ending than what the show actually ended on, which the show didn't end poorly. I just think this ending was better.
I've never watched Buffy the Vampire Slayer. Never watched a single minute.
Me neither.
It seemed, Joseph, you would hate it. But, Jones, I think you would like it. It seems like things you like. I think I would too. Yeah.
I
mean, here's the problem you're going to have with it if you try watching it right now. That fucking Whedon dialogue has made it into so many fucking things, and it's so played out in 2020 that it's going to feel unbearable watching it right now. So, like, wait 5 years for that shit to play out, and then try it.
I don't even know where I would find it, but yeah, I always tell myself I'm going to give it a shot, and then I never do.
I think there's actually some weird shit with it streaming, because I know for a while it was on Netflix, but the first season wasn't on Netflix. There was something about the rights on the streaming rights on the first season wasn't cleared or something. I don't know. So yeah, I don't know if there's anywhere to watch all of it right now.
Well, the only one that I have on here that you guys haven't already covered, because I've realized in preparing for this episode that I don't have the commitment to watch a show that's been on for 100 episodes or more, is that 70s show where instead of doing a clip show episode, they went another popular sitcom trope for their 100th, which is the musical episode.
This one was on my list too, and I was gonna ask how many sitcoms do a musical for their 100th episode.
Apparently not many, but a lot of sitcoms do a musical episode. And then after talking about this, it's like, oh, we should probably rank the best sitcom musical episodes.
Right. Well, mainly what I remember about learning from this episode is not a lot of their cast could sing.
Nope.
Like, for instance, going back to Buffy, when Buffy did the musical episode, most of those people could crank it out. But the 70s show people, these guys were not singers by trade.
Yeah, and again, that 70s show, the 100th episode, maybe a good stopping point for that show. I'm not sure it got better after that.
Oh, no, it 100% didn't. That's the last funny season. Like, it doesn't just become less funny the season after that. It is just cringy. Like, because I think that's the same season that ends with Eric's sister marrying Fez. And the very next season is just hot garbage.
Well, if we're finishing up these episodes, since it is our 100th episode, do we have any favorite episodes of Real Phonies that we should pump? right now in remembrance
I mean, look,
of our...
despite the fact that we've been doing this for, a long time.
6 months.
I feel like some of our best episodes that I still remember, really the first episode that I think was good was the episode we did on Avengers Infinity War. And I've enjoyed both of our Avengers episodes, Avengers Infinity War and Avengers Endgame are two of my favorite ones that we've done.
Yeah, those are good times. I mean, it's just fun talking about those movies. I think a couple favorites of mine, I think the Movie Villains episode is pretty strong.
That is a good one, yeah.
And one that doesn't get a lot of love that I really enjoyed is the Pitch a Pokemon movie.
Sure.
I really, Jehu and Ian, I thought brought their A games on that one, and I really enjoyed that one.
Pitch a Pokemon's probably my favorite one too. I know that, every time we don't have an idea, I always want to do a pitch episode again because I had so much fun on that. But apparently, this one wasn't beloved. But I had a really fun time doing it. It's one of the few ones because I can't stand the sound of my own voice. It's only one of the few ones with me on it that I've went back and listened to and thought, man, that's a fun episode. I really liked the Stephen King episode. I can't put a finger on why. I just remember after it over, it's like, oh yeah, I would listen to these guys talk for an hour.
Did we do a whole episode on Stephen King?
We did, yeah.
Yeah, we did a whole episode on
I don't remember
Stephen
that
King.
at all.
I think that's why it was good. I think going into it, we didn't have a strong opinion on what we were doing, so we weren't just yelling things at each other. I think that's what I liked about that one.
Yeah, it was before It 2 released, I think we did Stephen King adaptations. Yeah, I mean, you go all the way back to Better, Worse, and Transformers, the Black Panther episode, our very first episode.
Very first episode.
Great. But you know what? We could have started worse. Much love to Ian. He was the crucial part of this podcast. Miss you, buddy. I doubt you're listening, but if you are...
We miss you, buddy.
Yeah.
Miss you.
We do.
One of the ones that I constantly plug to people, even though I don't think anybody will have as much fun listening to it as I had doing it, was the Star Wars prequels episode. That's my personal favorite one we've ever done, but I understand that I'm heavily biased just because I came in very impassioned about it.
Whichever episode was the one I had the complete fucking meltdown about Everybody Loves Raymond at the end is probably the one I should recommend.
It's like a multiple episode, there's a story arc there as you continue to watch more of them.
That's true. There's 3 episodes in a row, but the third one was I need to stop fucking watching Everybody Loves Raymond. This is awakening a very dark part of my personality.
Yeah, I would also recommend our Star Wars The Last Jedi episode because it started a very long-running feud between Ian and myself. So
that's correct. Yeah. Well,
but real phonies.
Here's to 100 more? Question mark.
Yeah. If I have another child, I'm probably out.
I will say, if it gets down to just me and Joseph, the one time we were left alone, that was a concise fucking podcast.
It was. I felt like we were very efficient.
If we ever do an Aaron Sorkin episode, it should just be me and you.
I'd be down with that.
Yeah, but because it was just a lot of really clippy dialogue.
God, can we do a newsroom episode? Can we do an Aaron Sorkin episode just so we can talk about the newsroom? It's funny because it's the one I hate the most, but it's the one that I want to argue about the most because so many people are fucking wrong about it.
It's the only thing of his I've never watched, so let me watch it and then maybe.
God, yeah. Well, there are a couple things in the pipeline that require some prep work. That episode, and I need to rewatch Lost because I don't remember anything about Lost anymore. Because I'd love to do a Lost episode. So, sometime in the next 100. Yeah.
I mean, that might be the one we can maybe get Ian back with, just because he has such strong opinions about disliking a Lost because he doesn't like how the ending is, even though he doesn't remember the ending. Oh my God!
Also, a long-running bit is us arguing about Lost and teasing an actual Lost episode. So maybe one day we could deliver on that.
Since the first episode was on here, we talked about doing a Lost episode, and we've still not done it.
Tune into the next 100 to find out if we ever actually make good on it. But cool. Again, absolutely. Thanks to everybody who's been listening so far, even if you haven't necessarily listened to every single one of the 100. Just any of them is great. Thank you. I'm glad that somebody finds this entertaining besides us.
Yeah, I gotta say my highlight. I just want to say this before we move on. My highlight of doing this whole thing has definitely been at when we were doing the live recording at Pensacon, is hearing Jehu describe a rating scale of movies I created to be funny on Facebook. Like that was the Better or Worse than Transformers thing was something I just made up to post reviews on Facebook. And here we are sitting in this room, and this guy sitting next to me is saying it for these 40 people. It was a very surreal moment for me. So thank you guys. It's a ton of fun. I look forward to it every week, and I'm happy we've hit 100.
The live episode's also one of my favorites because we were also worried going into it that Ian was going to crap his pants, and Ian's the only one of us who didn't fuck up.
Correct.
His shit was tight, and the rest of us were like, Star Wars is our cool and stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, 100%. Well, cool guys. Thanks for 100. And what have we been watching this past week?
I will start. So would say I'm more pro found footage movies than most people.
They got a real bad rap for a couple of years, but like the format isn't fundamentally broken. It just got heavily abused for Paranormal Activity mostly.
For sure. I watched one of the terrible ones this week.
Okay.
It's called The Phoenix Lights, which the Phoenix Lights were like a mass UFO event in Phoenix, Arizona in the 90s. There is a low-budget horror movie about 4 guys who are camping during that event who I guess are kidnapped, taken, and killed by aliens. And it is awful. It is it's like probably right around 105 minutes. Like it's not super long. And it probably takes you 80 of them for them to even get like in a position of danger. It is a very slow build. I do not recommend it.
Are there any found footage horror movies where someone in the footage lives?
No, I don't think so.
I don't think so either. I guess that's kind of the point, is it's found footage.
I think that's what I'd like to see. I'd like to see a presented footage. You know, hey, here's the footage from this horror event I was in. I survived it.
There's one that's not really a found footage film. I think it's called The Fourth Kind.
I also was going to say The Fourth Kind. It's kind of a similar premise. It's not a found footage thing, but they play it as if it was, you know, based on real events, and then for certain like dramatized versions of scenes, they'll do a side by side of like the dramatized version with the actors and whatever, and then, you know, with the found footage version of what really happened on, like, you know, a shittier quality thing with different people. And it's pretty fucking effective. I really like that movie.
Yeah, that movie's pretty strong for, you know, being in this kind of like subgenre that is kind of what you're talking about, because it's like interviews with people who experienced this thing. The interviews aren't real, but they play them as real.
Mm-hmm. I feel like, do you just watch everything that's made in Alaska? Is this just like your subgenre?
Yeah, you know what? It's like when they mention Pensacola in a movie, you get a little excited about it. I watched a new Netflix special. I think it was kind of like a weekly thing. Middleditch and Schwartz. Schwartz, which is a hour-long true improv comedy special. And so there are 3 episodes out right now, and it's 2 dudes that take a prompt from the audience, and then they improv for 45 minutes.
I feel like it's important to note that it's Thomas Middleditch from Silicon Valley and Ben Schwartz from Parks and Recreation. You would recognize both of them instantly.
And they're great in it. It is. I have not laughed that hard in a long time. Tears running down my face. Jehu, I don't want to build it up for you because you hate when people talk about funny things, but to me, this was hilarious.
Right. What was it called again?
Middleditch and Schwartz.
And it's
just
on
their
Netflix?
last names.
Yep.
Yeah, it's on Netflix.
It's like the first thing on their banner ads right now.
Okay, fair enough.
Speaking of Netflix banner ads, I watched Extraction.
Ooh.
I can't get into Chris Hemsworth as a leading guy. I just he doesn't do it for me. He's not in comedy roles. Like, he has this good charm and charisma, but in dry action, like, I just don't see it.
I think it's the baby face.
Could be. There's some cool gun fu in it, but it's not like it's John Wick good. Yeah, I didn't love it. I'm going to say worse than Transformers. Phoenix Light's also worse. Middleditch and Short's better. And the only other thing I watched, because I had to check that anime box, is I started a very long-running anime that will take me a while, Fairy Tail. And you know what? It's pretty good. It's okay. It's
Is that the one you tried to start once and it had a really fucked up beginning? Or is that a different show?
I think it's a different one. I tried
Touche.
Yeah.
Oh, it was Seven Deadly Sins. Yeah, that's what it was.
Look, and this has very similar things to Seven Deadly Sins. Like Seven Deadly Sins has a lot of those like sexist overtones, and this does not have that. It's just not as bad. And so I was able to kind of suck it up. But it feels like a really good in between of what anime was when I was growing up and what anime is today. You could see the kind of transition in it. I believe the last episodes aired last year in Japan, and it's like 360 episodes long.
That sounds right.
So we'll see if I stick it out. But right now, pretty good.
Fair enough. Hurt?
I read a comic book called Silver Surfer Black. You guys might remember a while back on the show.
Is that not Black Surfer?
I mean, that is a fair question. You guys might remember a while back I raved about a comic called Thanos Wins.
Yes.
It was written by a guy named Donny Cates, who's kind of Marvel's new It guy. But since then, I'd kind of decided he was a one-hit wonder. I'd tried out some of his other stuff and hadn't hated it, but hadn't loved it. He wrote this, and this is him living up to that again. Although, really, there's the artist Trad Moore does a whole lot of the heavy lifting in this. He does a sort of trippy, psychedelic sort of maybe almost graffiti inspired art, and it is fucking dope. I read 8 pages into it, and I was like, this shit needs a soundtrack, which is not a decision I usually make with a comic book. But as someone who is who is not a stoner in their life, has no history with drugs, I still fucking love stoner rock. So I put on some Monster Magnets, specifically their Dopes to Infinity record, and read this comic, and it was fucking great. I highly recommend it. I would say it's a good comic, not just to get digitally or something, but actually buy and own on paper, because the art is worth looking at more than once. If you're someone who comic book art needs to be like hyper Jim Lee realistic and stuff, it's not the thing for you. But if you're looking for something that doesn't look like something you've seen before, it's worth a try. That's it. That's all I got.
Cool. I have been trudging through Westworld very, very slowly because I don't enjoy it. But I've finished 2 episodes now, and it's not good. It's just not good. I know, Hurt, you were mulling over watching more than the first season. Don't. Just stop.
Okay.
I watched...
Well, that's funny because me and Sarah are at a crossroads tonight where we decided our brains are atrophying and we have to start a brain show. We have to start some show. We've got to think about some tonight. And my pitch was going to be Westworld, but I guess I won't now.
Yeah, I don't... I think the thinking stopped after the first season.
Right.
I watched on Disney Plus. I watched their newest Pixar movie, Onward, which I really enjoyed. I feel like it got a little undersold to me. It's not, as I think you put it aptly, Christian, in that it's not like the most memorable Pixar movie. Like, it's not a game changer in any way. But if DreamWorks made this movie, it would be the best movie that DreamWorks has ever made.
Yeah, absolutely.
Which I think is very accurate. But particularly as somebody who's like, the whole movie is very much like a love letter to D&D. And I really enjoyed that. I wish there was a little bit more of the actual fantasy adventure instead of like, spending time in fantasy suburbia. But it's pretty fun. I also think Chris Pratt is really good at it.
Yeah, it might be his best role, honestly.
Yeah, I also thought that. As my Joseph Smarter Than You Guys pick of the week, I watched The Host by Bong Joon-ho, because I want to watch the rest of his collection.
Catalog?
I don't know.
Yeah.
Oeuvre. And
it's all on Hulu right now, right? Everything he's made.
Not everything, but several of his movies, including Parasite. But this is like
told that to me.
It's a monster movie about a monster that appears in the Han River in South Korea, and murders people. It's a pretty fun monster movie. I don't think it's got the shine or polish of some of Snowpiercer or Parasite. I didn't enjoy it quite as much as I enjoyed those movies, but as is kind of his usual bit, there's also like an additional layer of a lot of the plot is about the government's handling of a crisis when there's like a monster on the loose, and kind of how they don't do that great, which was more topical than I was anticipating when I went into this movie.
Do you? Sorry to interrupt, but do you guys find that you're trying not to watch things that are topical and just accidentally happen upon?
Yeah, absolutely. It's happening to me all the time.
I 100% am trying to avoid topical things.
Like even in my YouTube soap opera shit, I've gotten into an era of a soap opera where there's a pandemic. Like in 1984, they had a pandemic storyline on Guiding Light called The Dreaming Death. And I'm like, how did this line up right now?
Oh,
anyways, go ahead. Yeah.
And then the last thing I watched, which I watched the whole thing this week, even though, I guess it's just a short series. I watched my anime of the week is a show called Promised Neverland, or The Promised Neverland. I'm not sure. It's only 12 episodes long. It's kind of like I don't know if I'd classify it as like a horror anime, but it's definitely like a heavy suspense anime. I don't want to spoil it for anybody who wants to watch it, because part of it is kind of like, peeling back the layers of what's really going on. But it's 12 episodes on Hulu. It's really, really good, really compelling. I recommend it. And also the opening and closing credit songs are both bangers. So,
and that's really what's most important when watching anime.
In some ways it is. I don't know if you have the same thing, Christian, but in my mind, I have arguments with invisible ghosts that I have never met and will never meet about, which anime opening theme songs are the best songs. And I've just compiled this elaborate list in my head that I feel like I defend to myself fervently. And I don't know why I'm using brain space for that, but it seems important to me on some level.
Yeah, I mean, as long as Full Alchemist Brotherhood Season 1, that opener, man, that thing bangs.
It's great.
I'll send you a playlist I found on Spotify of the best anime.
I mean, genuinely do send that to me. I will enjoy that.
I mean, that seems like it's just going to be a lot of pop punk songs with Japanese lyrics over. Am I wrong about that?
No, that's absolutely correct.
What it is. But man, those bass lines are sick. It's unbelievable how good all of these songs have the best Japanese bass players in the world. I'm assuming they're all great.
But yeah,
I did want to. What was the name of that show again? Because I think I saw it on Hulu, and I wanted to check it out.
It's called The Promised Neverland. It's 12 episodes. It's a super easy watch, especially for me, because everything I've been watching lately is some kind of fighting battle anime, which I don't have a problem with. Obviously, I've been enjoying that for the last 20 years of my life. But it is nice to do something that's kind of a different storyline.
Yeah.
It's actually it reminds me a lot of Death Note. If Death Note wasn't so dumbly cynical and you weren't following the villain.
Fair point.
So that's my pitch. But I think that's it for me, and I think that's it for all of us. So join us next week for our 101st episode, which is not nearly as interesting.
And some might say our 102nd episode.
Some might say, but thanks to everybody for listening for however many episodes you've made it so far. It's more than we expected. Please, if you want to get in touch with us for what you would like for us to talk about while we're all just hurting for content, you can reach us at realphonies@gmail.com. You can also follow us on Facebook and Twitter at realphonies, and on Instagram at real_phonies. Thanks to Zach Evans for art and Brian Velasquez for our theme. We'll see you guys next week.
Later.